you've kind of made your name for yourself as the metaverse guy. I don't know if you meant to do that or
no. I've never meant to do that.
The narrative is going around that you do have lots of great stuff. Like I've listened to your stuff on, the Copy Wiki, Cornucopia's wiki page, and the stuff that you do on Pavia and all the other Cardanian stuff. So it's well deserved. It's just that's what you like talking about.
Well, I think the metaverse can be a lot of things, and eventually, when all these virtual environments can be connected to each other, we're going to see it be multiple things. But one of the things that's most interesting to me is like this Web3 version of social media. It's going to take a long time for that to happen. However, the market cap of that alone, and that's just one aspect of what the metaverse could be, is so big. So for me, it's not about necessarily finding these incredible projects early, because we just don't know. Like they're all just developing. For me, it's about tracking the progress of the ones that I'm like kind of impressed by right now, and I think have good leadership, and just seeing how they evolve. So I have all this context throughout the years as the metaverse develops. And then, as a business, having a YouTube channel, I want to acquire over the course of like the next couple of years and whatnot. I want to acquire presence in these different virtual spaces, because I think that until we have something way better, or if these are the ones that become it, I think it's going to be really a healthy thing for my channel to have presence and test different kinds of content, but also understand it and use it. Because it's one thing to talk about it, but it's a whole different thing to know what the heck is actually happening in these things.
Right. Yeah, it's exciting. I think you have a good point there, where we've seen projects come and go. There's been lots of them that have had their moments in the sun and they do super well for a week or 2 weeks or a month even. But then you have the ones like, Cornucopias as a good example, or some of the other ones that are in the top 10. You should, kind of invest your time and focus on the ones that are doing super well. And maybe you get lucky with a mint here and there. But yeah, anyways, so I guess it's just also different philosophies, but
yeah. Because there's trading, then there's long-term investing, and then there's, are you buying for your business? So I think there's 3 different approaches that people can take. And hey, look, man, I do all 3, right? So like, I like to, I've made some flips. I'm invested in some for the long term, because I do think that there is a huge potential as they're developing to come out with a product in the next bull market, let's say. But that's a longer term strategy. And then there's, can I do this for my brand and business? Right. So I think there is 3 different philosophies.
Yeah. And we've got a lot of those kind of big projects to talk about this week, but top 10 are your usual suspects. And like I said, the only new one, I mean, Old Money is always a high tier project. I guess maybe it doesn't always kind of get love in terms of being in the top 10 in terms of volume traded, but they just had a massive pump. It'll be exciting to talk about Old Money. They had a 400 ADA pump. And then like Cats on Chain was a free mint, and they had a floor up to 250 ADA. At least the last I saw, it probably went higher than that. But the big news is Space Buds. I did a video on this earlier in the week, so if you want to see like a 9-minute version, there are some updates and some kind of new things that have come out since Monday. The news kind of broke Saturday, and I kind of did a reaction video on Monday, and I've even had more time to think about it. We're not even a week out, and I think this is big. This is a big topic of conversation, and I guess I want to hear your thoughts, Jcrypto, but I guess I'll just kind of, for those that are kind of brand new or don't understand this. So SpaceBuds, first 10K project on Cardano. And what happened as of July 3rd is they're conducting an investigation into the art that was commissioned for the SpaceBuds NFTs. And that wasn't, the developers of this project are very much really good developers, and they just outsourced the art to a contractor, and then they paid for the rights that he made the art, and they just launched it. But we can see here that there has been some really close resemblance, if not tracing, if not just blatantly copying, this head and this head. This was from 2 years ago. This was from a year ago when the artist drew this one. And so I don't know what are your thoughts on seeing this? I know you kind of covered it in one of your videos recently as like a little subsection, but this is kind of the big news because Space Buds was hailed as like, and I mean you could argue it still is, but this is a big hit to the community and to just the ecosystem at large, I think.
Yeah, so people might hate me for my take, but Space Buds is the project I believe has the most hands down potential, and especially for a JPEG NFT, and yeah, man, it's my favorite project. Like, I think this is an awesome project, and the thing that's most cool about it to me is there's a lot of, I've even said, this before. There's a lot of people who say that are like pro Space Buds. They have Alessandro and he's done so much for Cardano. And the thing is, if I'm looking at just Space Buds, if we were to say, oh yeah, Alessandro has done a lot for Cardano, yeah, that's true. But what does that mean for Space Buds? To me, it doesn't matter that he's done a lot for Cardano because he is an amazing in-house developer and he's like at the bleeding edge of the tech. So for a project to have access to a developer like Alessandro, to me, is just like not financial advice, but it's just money in the bank because he is in-house. This is his mission. You can see by how he's responded to this whole kind of art, if you want to call it an art scandal, that he's very professional and he cares. He really cares. So this is part of his legacy. Now, as an entrepreneur myself, I always like to look at entrepreneurs, and I think he's a good one. He's a really good one. He's a great one. Now, as a project lead, there's many different styles, but for me, what I mean by a great entrepreneur is he cares about this project. Like, he's not going anywhere. So why I believe that this project has a ton of potential is because with Lucid, if you played around with the kind of like the community collection, being able to mint a Plutus NFT, which is like the first Plutus NFT, we're about to go through this era of seeing NFTs in a completely new light because Plutus NFTs will just be different than what we're used to. There's going to be different utilities that communities can add that nobody is adding right now to their NFT collection. So we can look at the top 10, we can look at the top 50, but no one's using this stuff. Who's going to use it first? The person that's developing it, which is Alessandro. He's developing the Lucid library so we can leverage Plutus NFTs. So I believe personally that we are, if you have I have a Space Bud. Now, if you don't like the whole thing with the art scandal or whatever, that's totally cool. Like, go, like, do your thing. But what I'm going to do is I just have one. So I'm so glad I just have one because I'm going to be able to use whatever he comes out with and the tools that he comes out with in a creative way. What's great about this, though, is it is putting a noose on, do we actually have the IP? So once they go through this process of getting that, whether they, redo the, I saw in the Army of Spies video, there's 3 options, right? And basically it is leading down this path of maybe doing some kind of token migration, as long as I have the IP and can leverage Lucid and some of the innovations coming to Space Buds, I'm a happy camper because it's not like I'm just holding my Space Bud and just like keeping it in my wallet, not telling anybody and waiting to flip it. I'm like using it for my brand. So if we can make sure that that IP is airtight and we have Alessandro as an in-house dev, which means, because a lot of these projects, bro, they gotta they gotta make more bids to make more money so they can hire devs.
Right.
Alessandro's in-house.
Yeah.
He can add functionality so that way people like me who have a brand and want to want to use this new NFT technology for either content or for my brand, and if we can get the IP airtight, I think it's great, because that's what I have a space bud for, is to have access to all the tools and tech that Alessandro develops in the future, and leveraging that for my brand and also for content. So I'm so stoked that we're getting through this period of time, and I just want to send a ton of love to the whole Space Buds community, because that's what's my truth. So if people, hate me for that, that's cool. I still love them, because I think these things happen in this market, bro. I've been through a lot of crazy, and everyone, kind of fights and whatnot, but give it a month, give it two. We're all gonna love each other again. It's all good. It's just like, this is how it goes, It's just how it goes. So I encourage people to do their own research, have their own opinion, but that's mine.
Well, then, yeah, this I don't know if you're gonna like my opinion then, but anyways, so
No,
here's
all love. It's all love.
I know, it's all fun and games, but
counter opinions. So.
Yeah, for sure, I get it. And people probably won't like me for mine, but anyway, so this is what he's talking about. I couldn't. In the Space Buds Discord, I can't find the dedicated channel where they're talking about this. I don't know, but anyways, so I'm assuming this is correctly Alice, and it looks like this is his response. But so this is what you were kind of already mentioning. They already have sought out some attorneys in the U.S. and in Europe. One of the attorneys thinks that it's fine and we can continue how things are. Maybe since the art wasn't a complete copy paste, the Dino was pretty clearly like just changed the color pretty much. But there are some other ones that are definitely like the same, but they're like in a different style, or anyways, whatever. I don't know the whole lingo, the lawyer jargon, but basically we could probably defend it in court is what they're saying. There's another one that says it's fine, but the community might not be happy with the parts that have been traced, and we should go through a token migration, which would still keep the original mint date, but there would be some type of redesigned Spacebud. And then the third option is it's not fine, and the only possibility is to go through a token migration. When I look at that, that's a problem for me. I trust Alessandro. I think I love Spacebuds. It is my favorite project, and I've on every week that I've talked about Spacebuds, I've loved on him. I just think it's a really unfortunate spot for him to be in, to be the person who's modeled NFTs for so long, like in Cardano since the beginning, with berries and then with Spacebuds. I just think if they do a token migration and they redesign Spacebuds, people say it's not about the art, and I agree with that to some point. But if the buds change and the design is different, then I think that changes a little bit of the historical value of it. Maybe not a lot, but I bought my Space Bud partially for the aesthetic. I liked the color matching. I liked the amulet in the hand. It's not, obviously it's not the only thing, but it's one thing I bought. So and then there was another one, just him talking. I started this project with zero expectations. If I had known that it would grow so big, I would have looked closer at the art. So back kind of saying the only way I could have done this differently, and I agree, would be to do more due diligence at the beginning when before the mint happened, to really look into, is this art copied? And even then, like if he would have spent an extra 3 hours trying to really look at it, maybe he wouldn't have found anything anyways. But that's basically him saying that. So I actually sold my Space Bud. Now, my specific situation is I was in profit 2,000 ADA. And I think that we really don't know how people are going to react to this. I'm guessing they're going to have to do a token migration. People are going to be split. People are going to say, okay, so if they go with just continue with how things are, then there's always going to be this is traced art. So you've got that group over there who's always going to hate on Spacebuds for that. If you do the token migration, then you're going to have people that say, well, now it's a new Spacebud, or I like the old ones, or I only like the new ones. It's good. Unfortunately, I think this is going to create division either way. And division's not good. As we've seen with Twitter, like everybody's like, putting their own opinion. So I felt like it was best for me to sit on the sidelines, keep my ADA in the wallet, because I had one that had a little bit more rarity. So I could always buy back in at the floor. If things work out well, I can just get back in. The other thing in the back of my mind is I can take a $2,000 to $3,000 tax loss because the price of ADA is down. I can now take a tax loss and buy back in almost instantly, and then I can write off $2,000 to $3,000 off on my taxes because of when I bought in. But my ADA value went up, my USD value went down. So that's how I played it, and that took a long time. I wasn't even that took probably till Tuesday or Wednesday to really be like, yeah, I think it's better to de-risk and wait than to have something. If they play it perfectly, then the floor stays the same that it was, which was 5,000 ADA. Now, when Alessandro releases whatever this Lucid thing, like when Vassal hard fork and all that stuff happens, and whatever he's been planning on the website actually goes down, then that's where things get interesting, and he can bring a new innovation to the space. But until they get over this hurdle, I don't think that's going to happen. But curious to hear your counter thought.
Yeah, no, I think that it's like there's not really a counter thought. I'll expand on it a bit, because I think what I'm not trying to do is tell people what they should do, right? So like, I think that your strategy based on how you're perceiving things is very logical, right? So like, I respect it. And I would encourage everyone to come up with their own strategy, just like Blake, and approach the situation. I think for me, I guess, like, I believe, it's probably hard to see right now, but like, space buds will always have historical value. I don't believe that this is going to dent that. In fact, if anything, this is just going to make it more prominent in the long term. Now, you're going to not see that for a while. You're going to see there be a lot of debate whether this will dent the historical value, and people will say it will. But for me, the token migration, sure, you can change it up. I mean, it doesn't matter, because if you view things like a brand, then there's going to be, what's the first 10K collection on Cardano? What's the second 10K collection? So it doesn't mean that the second 10K collection gets bumped up to be the first because they go through a token migration.
No, I wouldn't say that.
So it is kind of, that's still in play to me. I'm pumped. I think if the art looks better and we have the IP to it, I'm pretty excited. I have thought about, purchasing another. I'm glad I have one, though, because I feel super comfortable with one. And the thing is about having one is you have this access to all the tools that Alessandro's already developed. So he's already created the community collection. We've seen Spacebud's identity. Now, a lot of that stuff is leveraging sort of, I think, early stage Lucid concepts, but there's more coming. There's more coming, because he's busy right now with this, but there's still like things that he's going to be finishing, and he's hinted at some, like, there's something cool coming. So I don't know, man. Like, I don't want to be that guy. That's why I've been relatively quieter about my opinion, is I just know it's like not the time. It's like, it's not the time to be too loud about being super positive on this, because I still am. In fact, I'm more positive knowing that, look, we're getting our IP kind of straightened away, and this is a big focus of theirs right now. I'm actually more positive, but I get that people are a little bit there's not everyone feels the way that I feel. So I don't want to go wave my flag out there and attract debate or argument in this space, because, dude, you said it, man. There's already enough division, and these things happen. Sometimes you just got to let the team work, let the dust settle, for me, not draw any more attention to them, and see how they perform. I'm a progress guy, so I just want to track their progress, like these things that we're showing on the screen, and we'll let the results fall as they may. But yeah, dude, I don't have a counterpoint to that strategy. I think that, you got to kind of, like, no one knows for sure what's going to happen. So I respect that you just went on, your own individual thing, and I'm going on my own individual kind of intuitions. So that's kind of where we're at. Yeah.
And I think we're both coming at it from Space Buds positive, but our outcomes were different. I still believe that Alessandro can deliver. I would just like to see them navigate through this from the sideline as opposed to as someone invested. And I'm totally comfortable with getting back in when it's good.
That's where I think this is a cool point to highlight too. It's like so me and Blake, we approach this like there's so many different approaches and philosophies out there, right? So like I just am a more long-term guy. Like when I was invested in AMD, that was like a 2 to 3 year kind of in stocks, like back in the when I first started investing. Then when I was in sports cards, these were like 3 year holds. Like I just naturally am kind of like a more of a long-term guy. Like I just like to have stuff and forget about it, not look at it, and then give it 4 or 5 years, see what happens. So that is my philosophy. Now I am trying to be a little bit more business minded with this space because I do recognize that there's some things that we can use. So that's why I got the Clay Nation Clayverse plot, because I know that the Snoop Dogg track being airdropped is something I can use in like a Jcrypto intro.
Yeah.
And I can like remix it or whatnot. So like I am trying to approach this as well as an investor, as a business minded person. But I do recognize that there are people that have shorter term strategies, and they probably are capitalizing on those. And it's not like one's better than the other. It's just it's what you're kind of a what you're good at too. I think I'm better at seeing like maybe a little further down the road, but than I am trading, because I'm just busy making content, bro. But like I'm like you said, I'm grinding on Twitter Spaces, So like I don't want to be worried about my money too much, but it's what I feel natural doing. So I do respect the trade. I do respect the shorter term. I respect the midterm, and I respect the long term and the business approaches that we're seeing playing out right now.
Yeah. Well, we've got lots of comments now.
Dude, we just yeah, exactly. It's like pouring gasoline on a fire.
Yeah. Eddie says, I don't think they should redesign the artwork. It loses value when you change it. I would get a new Space Buds mint. Freedom 35ers, Blake respected the decision. You're going to buy a bill with that ADA. if I would buy anything, I'd probably buy a Clay Nation, to be honest. Dilly says both opinions are definitely not wrong. Crawford, classic. You can afford some Cardania terraforms. He's a good old whale in Cardania.
I love Crawford, yeah.
He's the man. Eddie says just gives the project even more backstory in the long term. Just keep the Space Buds as it is. No one will care 5 to 10 years from now. New people won't know when they enter. Eric says, I see and agree with Blake's points, but I'm more of Jcrypto's mind. Can you imagine Jcrypto's mind and this mind? Wow, that would be crazy.
We're coming at it a little, yeah, dude. Like, this is why I love it. This is because like I don't do these like top 10 CNFT stuff because it's just I'm a different mindset. So Blake, and when we come together, it is fun because we get to kind of come at things from 2 different points of view.
Maddie, I don't know if I like the word flighty, but definitely risk averse. I know that I'm in NFTs. I know that I'm in Cardano NFTs. I would definitely say that I'm risk averse. I would say that. I don't know about flighty. That makes me sound, it gives a negative connotation, but I know what you're trying to say.
You'd rather, yeah, exactly.
It's all good. It's all good. Let's see. Anyways, okay, but yeah, that's kind of the big topic of the night. Of
like
course.
Those are all comments to be completely expected because there's just, I think where the division happens too is mindset. Like there's what we don't always have empathy for in this space is there's no wrong opinion. Like there's just so many different philosophies. There's so many different levels. Like forget levels of understanding, because some people have been in this space longer than others, but there's just different philosophies too. So it's really like that's why I always respect all those comments, because I'm like, Yeah, well, you know what? There's just so many different philosophies and points of views that you can look at this, and we don't know yet. We don't know what the next steps will be, so we're all speculating.
Yeah. Yeah, that we are. I
We're
mean,
all
space
speculating.
buds could just go to a 6K floor overnight and it would not be surprising. And it could also just, I don't know, we're all just trying to figure it out. Oh man, this space is so fun and wild. Well, now that I'm flighty, now I'm going to have that in the back of my mind. Thanks, Mads. No, she's great. She's been in here several times,
Oh
but
yeah.
anyways,
Shout out Bads. Sure.
Ape Society, 2250, 642. Well, the other thing too, you could say is the volume's a lot bigger and daily volume's going up. So that's either, we had like a 700 to 800K daily volume. And now with the space bud stuff or just other stuff going on, that kind of bumped volume. So you could say, that's great. Now I know you're a member of the Ape Society. I am not. I believe they're releasing their white paper. Is that what's going on next week? There's something coming up next week, and the cabins are going to come online.
Okay, so hold on a second. I'm not a member of the Ape Society. I had one. Yeah, this was like way back in the day. So I had one. I bought it at 600 ADA.
Yes.
And I didn't know much about the project. Okay, to be fair, like this was like before I really started talking to Cardbid, and I had listed it for I think 1200 ADA, and it wasn't like there wasn't like like I just didn't there was like not as much happening with them at that time.
Okay.
It was listed and it sold. And it sold when everything went to like 3,000 ADA, like over a 2-day period. If you remember that time, there was just this one massive move where my space bud got sold. Since then, I wouldn't say I'm a member, but I'd say I'm a huge fan, like a massive, massive fan. And I have a different opinion about this whole market, where I think there's going to be some very low prices in the next couple of years because of macroeconomics. I could be wrong. So what I'm comfortable doing is being fans of these projects, following them, missing out on these token drops, missing out on some of this stuff, and just waiting for my chance to kind of get back in. Because I think that you don't need to own them all to be a fan of projects. That's where people go wrong, because when you're a fan of projects, you get to see what they're doing, you get to study them. And yeah, I think what I like about Ape Society is nothing for them seems super short term. I think they are trying to build out longer term rewards. So there will be, I think, chances to get back in, but at the moment, dude, like there's it's something I'm just a big fan of, I like how they've done a few things. It will be more interesting to see how the cabins play out, the staking rewards for the cabins. Don't get me super excited, because I feel like if I was to get excited by that, I would really try to FOMO in, because they're happening.
How much have you talked with Cardman? A lot? Is he in a lot of Twitter spaces?
No, so we were running like a DAO YouTube.
Oh, the DAO off stuff. Yep.
Yeah, we had a DAO off probably for about, I don't know, like almost, I forget, like 6 or 10 weeks, somewhere between there.
Yeah.
And I got to talk to all these DAO founders, and yeah, man, like it's tough to not have FOMO in this space, especially when something like that happens. But at the end of the day, you're not going to have every project. But I will talk about how impressed I am with their team and their community. What I love is the recent magazine for the dorks. That was a huge deal, man. If you've seen that, have you seen that?
I haven't. No.
Oh my gosh, Blake. Yeah. I'll
try to find it and link it in the private chat in the StreamYard, and I'll pull it up.
Yeah, for sure. So just to talk about it though, real quick, it's like this beautiful 36 page. It looks like a professional, like Berkshire Hathaway real estate magazine.
Oh,
I swear to gosh. It looks even better than that. Like it's really amazing, man. And it has not only things about the community members in this one section of the map, where like the dorks area, but it also has like current events happening. It has current events with Ape Society too. It has all this information. It's really amazing. So I'll try to find it, but if you want to talk about what's kind of going on that you've seen too, feel free.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of punching myself for not getting in around this 1800, because I'm also just like a pass, like a on the outside fan of Ape Society and what they've done. I mean, they've obviously took a ton of flack going all the way back from when they first minted, and they've definitely proven themselves. And the community is insane. A lot of community members are in the chat right now. And the society token has done very well on MinSwap. I mean, I think at one point, if not, it's still at or above like 24 million USD for their entire, like the market cap of their coin. So to have an NFT project that's so early on Cardano to do a market cap like that's kind of insane. So I'm looking and I'm like, man, I am more comfortable, similar to what you were saying a little bit earlier, and kind of changing your words a little bit to say, I'm okay with paying a premium for a really good project. Like, I didn't see it or I missed it at some point, but at 2000 ADA or at 2100, whatever it's at, 2200, okay, I missed it, but I'm okay with getting in now. Or, anyways, stuff like that. So I would like to get into Ape Society at some point. I'm really curious to see what the cabins look like. I believe it's someone else who's an Ape Society person. I think it was I was talking with Chronic a little bit earlier this week.
Like, yeah, dude, he's like an ape, like, bro, he is the Ape Society sometimes.
Yeah.
Talk to that guy.
So,
like, he knows every specific detail about so many projects, and Ape Society is one of them. He's gotten a tremendous memory. I got to tell you, like, this guy is a catalog of Cnfts. But Ape Society is definitely one of the focused parts on his catalog. I'm having trouble finding the magazine, Blake, but it's a really cool magazine, man. So I'll send it to you on Twitter. Maybe you can, mention it next time you cover them. But it's really cool, dude. It's really cool.
If anyone has it, you can try to DM me on Twitter, and I'll try to find it.
Yeah,
someone in chat. But Chronic. I'm trying to go back to our text thread. He said the roadmap is this week. So they're going to come out with a new roadmap, or maybe they haven't ever come out with a roadmap. And then the cabins are going live soon, he said.
Yeah.
So that's the new update.
Yeah, dude, this is what I mean. Like, there's so much happening to create that FOMO that's where, though I love the project, I kind of back off, because those are the times where, since I'm long-term in this space, I'm going to be here. So whenever there's kind of those circumstances where it just feels like, yeah, it's a massive opportunity, the roadmap could create FOMO, all this stuff could happen, I don't, as like an investor, want to get outside of that like logical place where if it's hitting me for the first time, or like I'm just hearing it, I don't want to, like, the only thing I will say though is I did get a Clayverse plot, like, because I knew that the Snoop Dogg track was coming. But I mean, that hit my radar before, so it wasn't like I was feeling all of those emotions, because I just don't like that. It's not fun for me to feel like I'm almost being phoboing into a project. So I'm comfortable, man. Like, I'm comfortable waiting. I don't think you need to own every project, but I do believe there will be times where I could probably buy back in, So,
well, here's the thing. I just continue to tuck these different things away in the back of my mind, because just a month ago, when everything was all cornucopias and all iconicos, everybody forgot about Ape Society. And I mean, not forgot, but like, their focus was turned elsewhere, and I could have picked up an Ape Society for 1600. And, fast forward a month and now you're at 2250. If you wanted to do the quick flip and swing it for 700 plus ADA, great, good on you. And if not, you're like, great, I got a good entry point. And the same was true for Clay Nation and Chilled Kongs and Space Buds, or what, everybody was kind of draining liquidity to get cornucopias. So it's just another reminder that they're still here and they're still building. Anyways,
They're
so
going strong. They're actually going stronger than ever. Like a lot of things in this space.
yeah, so it's impressive what they've got going on there for Ape Society. What do you guys think? Oside says they should make Chronic spokesman.
Make him president. Like they should honestly make him president of the Ape Society. I swear to
God. D-Man's trying to get me to FOMO. Get in now. It's going to explode. Classic. Shout out to D-Man. Apes are doing things right and giving even more value and utility with each step of the way. Lots of engagement. They're talking about society token. Etrox is talking about it. Oh, Edgar, here we go. Pavia is the most undervalued CNFT project. Prove me wrong. Jcrypto, you've covered Pavia. You're probably the Pavia guy,
plot, bro. I haven't sold a Pavia plot, so that just tells you I've just been slowly, just while everyone's not I've been accumulating. So
that's what I'm saying. Pavia is very quiet right now, but it doesn't mean they're not doing anything.
Well, they just released their builder tool, so you can actually use their builder tool. The first cohort can use it, but you can go in the Discord. It's so accessible, Blake. Like anybody can really figure it out. It's actually, to me, easier than Blender. And they give you like 5 or 3,000 plus assets that are stock. So you're not going to see the same thing that Decentraland ran into a problem with, which is they didn't have anything. Because if you want to plot, guess what? You just got 3,000 stock assets. Then now you can make something on your plot. And they've said that they're going to actually add more assets that are higher poly, meaning higher quality. So they're going to add iterations of higher quality assets. My assumption is, right, because everything's kind of played out similar to what we've talked about on the channel. We thought it would play out. I'm not an insider, but I think the next thing that is going to probably be happening too, maybe this year and next year, is you're going to start seeing game functional APIs that you can attach to your assets and plots. So now you can, if you want to make something move, let's say up and down like an elevator, I think that they're going to provide some APIs and then they're going to work alongside the community, just like they did with assets, give us guidelines. So that way game developers can make some APIs that you can buy, right? Just like 3D modelers make assets that are PCA compliant. And then that's where that's where things will get really fun, I think, for Pavia. That's when you're going to be able to do a whole lot with that builder tool on your plot. And it's going to start to feel like, holy crap, man, this thing has came along. Like, it's not going to happen overnight, but I'm stoked, man. Like, I really think they got a good team there. I mean, Paul Manuel, who worked on Apex Legends. I mean, come on. He's the COO. So I think they got a good team. Let it be quiet. I say, let it be quiet. I'm just gonna slowly, be watching, pick my spots, and that's one of the metaverses that I'm like, yeah, partly for brand, partly because this is a real opportunity for me to start to build like a company around virtual real estate development potentially. Like you could almost buy up a bunch of plots and build these different locations and then sell them or rent them. So that's kind of one thing. I know did Pavia not make the top 10 today? So that's good that we got to mention them because I definitely studied that one a lot too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. That's a good point. Thanks for, I did want to get your thoughts on Pavia because what I've said is I only have one Pavia plot, but to see it under 200, I thought it would stay because 300 was kind of the historical kind of support level, you could say, if you kind of want to use TA terms. A lot of people bought in at 300. And to see it go down to 200, it's like, man, the level of engagement is low. The team seems to still be building. People are just getting bored. So, I mean, it's kind of a perfect situation if you are thinking long term. But I don't know. Like, people have their opinions on Pavia. But yeah, of course.
Financial advice.
Of course. So under 200 ADA is
shout out to Edgar.
Yeah, Edgar bringing the heat.
We didn't prove him wrong. Well, I mean, like
we didn't prove him wrong. That's fair. D-Man though came in the clutch. Shout out to D-Man. He found the magazine.
Yeah,
or he sent it to me at least.
Shout out to D-Man. Let's go.
So 46 pages.
Yeah, you're gonna, dude. Just look at this thing, man.
Always on the right side of the map. Dork East magazine. Now,
Trust me.
is Dork East one of the streets, or is that just a funny name for the magazine? Okay.
No, that's like a place inside of like where they have the cabins, you know.
Is that like one of the A tier cabin
Well,
heat map?
I mean, think about what this will do, bro. Like, there's a lot of people. This is going to make any plots in Dork so valuable because they have like this branding awareness and it's so pro. So this is a very smart thing. This is like a maturity of NFT communities coming together to recognize they have an opportunity to make their assets more valuable by just putting in a little bit of extra effort and work.
Right.
Because now people are going to they're going to get offers to, oh, Dork East, it's the premier place to be. I'll be on the magazine, you know, like that's a real like right now it doesn't seem, but just wait, man. Like if this market got more hype and we have another bull market, that's going to be like a major location potentially.
So this isn't from the Ape Society. This is just a community post. This is
yeah.
Okay, that's where I wasn't clicking for that. Okay, this is just a community. Is this Timmy's? Because Timmy's talked about a specific district that he's trying to.
Yeah, no. This is I don't know. Okay, it very well could be. I don't know because Timmy he's a virtual cat, but he's also a business guy.
Yeah, he's smart.
So I have no idea what he's doing. To be honest with you, half the things he says, I just kind of don't even listen to because I'm like, dude, what is going on with this guy? He's a cat. Man. I'm just looking at him and I'm just like, this cat is talking.
Okay, yeah, this is impressive. This is impressive.
Shout out to Timmy, though.
Shout out to Timmy. Yeah. Okay, so you these guys went so far as to make a entire magazine for their district. Okay,
dude, it has a ton of information. It's insane.
Dork East, clean, friendly. Look at that. It got highest, totally unbiased poll. Yeah, see? So there, I mean, you can see it's an up-and-coming neighborhood. Oh, that's so funny. That's great.
Isn't this nuts? Like
that is kind of nuts.
I think it's pretty nuts, bro.
That's
like,
cool.
Like they must have some. Because I know that these things come out in real estate. They must have like some kind of like person that's been in. To me, that looks like certain real estate magazines that I've seen personally. Like, I think it wouldn't surprise me if they have like a broker or a realtor or like someone that has a little bit of that context because it's just too familiar. Otherwise, it's just a home run and maybe it's a coincidence. But I mean, dude, that's like a professional real estate magazine. And
yeah, that takes a lot of time to put together. That's not just like a weekend project. That's close to 100 hours, probably more than that. Yeah. So shout out to Dork East, I guess. The Dorks. Yeah. Shout out to the Dorks. Clay Nation comes in at number 3. Mm-hmm. They've held this 3,000 ADA floor, not surprisingly. Impressively, you could say, after the Snoop Dogg announcement and all that stuff. 380,000 ADA in volume. Now, I don't know if are you a Clay holder? Are you a OG Clay holder?
I'll just say this, man. Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah.
I have a large Baked Nation plot. So that was my first ever kind of entry into anything Clay. But I did say like a month ago that I would be getting heavily mentally invested into their entire ecosystem. And I have been. There's been a lot of things I've learned. I ended up buying that Baked Nation plot, and I'm still researching a little bit. I've read their white paper now, I don't know, like a couple times. I want to read it a few more times just to make sure I have in memory like everything. But yeah, dude, there's definitely I don't know. Well, I have some thoughts on this project for sure on Clay Nation, so we can bounce back and forth.
Yeah. I did a video on the version 3 of the Clay paper. I think the non-custodial baking is genius, and you also have to do some type of vote to then claim so whatever governance things they want to include in whatever, like whatever they want to do with this project. And there's lots of areas they can go. They call it baking classic for their Clay. I'm also not a Clay holder, but now that I have this, I'm either getting back into Space Buds or I'm getting a Clay Nation. Really, that's kind of with the ADA that I now have. That's what I'm looking at. So
I want a Clay Nation too because I can have a 3D rigged model of it, and
you're all about the 3D.
Yeah. Well, dude, the thing is, like,
no, I'm just joking.
Yeah, no. It's actually funny, but it's actually the truth because there's going to be like, you know how Timmy the Cat uses it, like,
yeah,
to make content.
yeah.
My thinking is to use it as like a segment in my YouTube. So like,
That'd be cool.
I could name my clay a certain name. I could put a little voice changer on there, and I could be like Cnft stats by, you know, whatever the clay is. And I thought the same when I saw the 3D space buds. So maybe if they have the 3D space buds and I have a 3D clay, now I have characters to play with. And I can have
that's
like
awesome.
a whole, like, you know what I mean? Like, that'd be kind of cool. A news show of different characters, and I'm just the main guy.
Would you have the IP? Does Clayhead let you have the IP rights to it? I'm guessing they do. I don't see why they wouldn't.
So I've seen Subcritical have a 3D like, I've been into the Oculus with Subcritical while he's using his 3D clay.
Yeah.
So I assume that to be able to do that and record, he's done his research, but I would definitely check that out before I branded it and used it for sure. I'm pretty sure a lot of their
somebody in the chat can confirm. I'm pretty sure Clay, because they're kind of open, that just seems like their style.
Yeah.
Because then you get your 3D model. That would just make sense that you could then use it for what you wanted. But somebody can tell me wrong. Somebody Dilly, or he buys a bill. I mean, yeah, of course. We'll talk about old money in a little bit.
35ers was yeah.
And Freedom 35 was just Tommy at least picked up a bill for on the cheap now comparatively.
Dude, Tommy's becoming a bit of a,
dude, he's a hustler, man.
Bit of a whale out here, dude, for real.
Seriously, shout out to Tommy, dude. Okay, well, we do not have an episode sponsor tonight, which is not a bad thing. But that allows me to
let's break. That's perfect.
Yeah, go ahead and break. Go ahead and break. So what I'm gonna do is I zoomed in the wrong screen. I have a catalyst proposal. I talked about this last week, and I won't go super long into it, but basically Project Catalyst is a thing that Cardano has that allows people to submit proposals, and then you can get funding for your ideas. So obviously my idea is helping make this channel better. And so one way I can do that is to hire a video editor. I can hire somebody to do thumbnails, which will I'd only do this part-time. So then that frees me up to do other parts of this, like negotiating with projects or thinking up of video ideas and whatever, having time to brainstorm and research, studio upgrades. I mean, paying me for my time, a giveaway wallet for you guys. So I've already talked about that I've already talked a lot about that in my previous video. But if you guys wouldn't mind, if you haven't already created an account on IdeaScale, and this is linked in the description, and I'll pin it to the YouTube chat as well, just so that I don't forget. But make sure to give this kind of a kudos or a clap, whatever thing here on Catalyst. And then if you guys have never done Catalyst before, there is some information that you guys need to know. There's going to be a snapshot for the Catalyst proposals for this round on August 4th at 7 a.m. I'm guessing 7 a.m. is for my specific time zone, which is Eastern time. So whatever, the snapshot is August 4th. And if you have at least 500 ADA at the time of snapshot, you'll be able to vote. And the voting period is August 11th through the 25th. So then you can vote for all the other Catalyst proposals, as well as for my own, if you think it is worthy, and if you want to see the channel grow. I'm thinking there's something else. Oh, you also need to have the Project Catalyst app. There's an app that you'll need to do to register and set up all your stuff. But anyway, so if you guys wouldn't mind checking that out and registering, that would be awesome. So check out the Project Catalyst proposal. And yeah, this should be pretty sweet. Jay,
what's up?
We're back. Cornucopias
is
sitting at 198. So you've got Pavia at 198. but I mean, the quantities are different. I think Cornucopia's is 25,000 and Pavia's is 100,000. Actually, that's a good question. We were talking about this earlier before you jump in. Did Pavia always say they were going to have 100,000, or did they not ever say the supply? You'd be the one to know.
There was a brief period of time where you probably didn't know in the first minute, but yeah, they were gonna just have 100,000 plots, and that was it. I think there's too much to say, bro, because this is another one of my this is another project that I'm just hugely rooting for, and I have 2 plots, and I'm looking to acquire more within the next 2-year period. So if you notice, this is kind of an ongoing strategy for me, because I'm just sometimes tasting, so I have some exposure to it, but also there's no rush.
Right.
There's no rush.
These NFTs aren't going anywhere.
Well, they're gonna be. I don't think so. I don't think they're gonna hop on over to $2 million. You're people think that JPEGs, right? Are going to get them a Lambo, in 10 years. I think that certain projects that are versatile and able to adjust to new concepts and tech could get them a Lambo. No, I'm just kidding. But I do. I think there's massive potential in this space. It's going to take time to bake and to marinate and to invent. And Cornucopias is one that I am looking at. But dude, their supply I can talk about. I can help on that, because it's kind of complicated for sure.
Well, the only reason I bring it up is because someone in a previous live stream when we were talking about Pavia, they were saying that 100,000 wasn't the actual number that they had said at the beginning, and they kind of added it on afterwards to sell more. I don't know, but whatever. 100,000 is the asset. It doesn't. I don't know if it necessarily matters if that was the initial plan or not.
Yeah, I remember. I think around December they announced that that would be the max supply, 100,000, which is lower than Decentraland and Sandbox. So maybe that's kind of why. But I don't look at supply too much, because, for example, we could look at the supply of cornucopias, but the problem with that is a copious plot is 16 of the small plots. It's that's the size of it. And hopefully I'm getting those numbers right. But if I'm not, just, don't quote me on it. Do your own research. The thing is, though,
I'll make sure to yell at you afterwards.
Yeah. The thing is, though, with cornucopias, there's an expansion, plan. So since it's a game, since they're aware that they want to increase the supply to match demand, I believe what would be smart for them is to really pay attention to that demand, and then have everything ready. So in other words, if they can finish their kind of current roadmap to build out on Unreal Engine what they've already sold to people, and then have custom domes, which is really what I'm interested in as a business investment. So just from my YouTube channel, I want to purchase a custom dome from a business investment. I'm not looking for that to appreciate in value. I'm looking to hold that and use it for my brand. And they have other things too, but for them to finish out the builds of all that stuff, let the demand rise while they build some other, the rest of their zones. And then as demand comes in, boom, they have all these expansion packs that they can give out in the next 10 years to when the demand meets the occasion. So I do think that they are an incredibly long-term thinking company, because in the Copy Wiki, what you understand is, holy crap, they're planning way in ahead, and things will change. Probably. They've even said that, don't take their roadmap dates for, the actual what's going to happen, because they need to be able to pivot. I actually think this is a good point that I think about a lot too, Blake, is I believe personally, as an investor, right? It's important for investors in the traditional world to have empathy for companies. So I think it's funny how people are so grade school-esque in thinking everything is planned out exactly with some of the projects that they're invested in. Like, oh, they're going to hit this date, and if they don't, we're going to yell at them, right? Because if you're invested into a project or you own their NFTs and whatnot, that's kind of like a partnership. Now,
Yeah.
what's important, I think, for us to all have is a ton of empathy for the people that we're partnered with. So in this case, the founders. And I know that Cornucopius's roadmap it's ambitious, but like, hey man, I'll have empathy if some dates get delayed. If they provide a reasoning, I'm not gonna care. Like, so yeah, it's fun talking to Rob. Rob has a lot of cool thoughts about where this space is going. It's fun hearing Josh's thoughts on some of the Twitter spaces we do. And Josh is to me a really great marketer. I think that it's important to have a marketer. Rob has, run I believe a real estate software company, and he exited that in the past. So he's definitely, been able to scale companies before. And that's interesting to me. And it shows with how they already have 40 people on their team, and they just started. I
Right.
think like they've not been around like super long, right? It's been like a year that the space has been I mean the
Yeah.
space hasn't been around long. They've been around long for the space, but I mean the space is young. So the fact that they scaled to that level pretty quickly again is a nice little thing to look at. Floor price, I'm not buying right now because I believe everything is going to go down, bro. Like, and
Mm.
we might have a moment, but I'm just a snake in the grass, and I'm waiting for my little
I love that
chances.
mental picture.
I'm just waiting for my little chances to accumulate little pieces at nobody's detriment here because I'm not a flipper. These are for my business, right? So like I'm looking to acquire stuff. Cornucopius, though, is another one that I could see potentially having a little bit of an investment plan too, as like that virtual real estate developer concept, along with Pavia, and there's a couple others, but most of the stuff that I'll purchase right away in this market is going to be for my YouTube channel, just because I want to be able to use it when it launches,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna be slowly sneaking the grass as well for the investment stuff.
Yeah. So the custom domes is kind of the next sale for cornucopias, and do we know a time frame?
So I think what was originally the plan was there's like in this universe, there's one city. So I think the next thing was the city. Whether they've changed that or not, I'm not sure. And then I think the custom domes were after that. So what's great about the custom domes is there's not really like a limited supply. It's kind of like because with these virtual lands, there's companies already that have been around where you can pay a subscription fee, and then just like they're going to give you tools to have conferences so that way people can come and you can do stuff. But that's not a Web3 play. So custom dome is cool because you purchase once and then you can build stuff on it. So there is this resell element that has royalties given to Cornucopius, which is all they need. But it's like there's not a limited supply of the custom domes. So it really depends what you create with the tools that they give you. And they've said that this is the one that they think Twitch streamers, game streamers, content creators, and entrepreneurs will be able to leverage the most based on the tools that they give. So I'm just gonna watch. I'm just gonna see what kind of tools they give us. But they're very excited about that. So I am too. I'm just excited to see what's behind that excitement too, and why they think that this is the best for YouTubers, Twitch streamers, entrepreneurs, etc.
Yeah, that'll be really cool to see for
Yeah.
sure. So yeah, shout out to Cornucopias. That was cool to see they had like a team meeting in Manchester. I'm sure you saw those pictures of them all hanging
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
So
yeah. They exactly. We saw some legs for the first time. People do wear
they have
pants.
legs. It wasn't like Clay Nation where they're pantless until they get to the stand, which is part of the white paper. Chilled Kong's 2750. I don't think there's any major news from Kong's other than the mushroom airdrop, which we've mentioned for almost 2 months, I think, for almost 3 months on this channel. So really, I'll be really curious. They must have had some type of announcement though. So within, does anybody know what happened to Kong's within a couple days?
Look at that chart. Holy crap.
Let me check the Discord really quickly. They might have.
People love this project though.
Yeah.
I don't own one, but people do love this.
Like, the Vox Kongs. So like the Boss Cat Chilled Kong collaboration is going to. Why don't I just pull this over? I think I'm good. So when I full screen. So this is the 4,000
stuff.
Yeah, Vox Kongs. It'll be 25 ADA each, July 15th, 9 p.m. UTC. And then they gave an update. Blockchain snapshot will be taken Saturday. So there'll be a snapshot. So you basically, it's kind of like delist, which then, obviously always increases the price, and then people want to get their Vox Kong.
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, if you're already a holder, it's like, great. I pay 25 ADA and I get this cool Vox Kong for the Boss Planet stuff. That's a cool collaboration. Most collaborations are like, hey, let's do this giveaway on Twitter together. Okay, we collaborated. Well, I guess you could say you did, but this has got a little bit more meat on the bones.
So. It looks like too, those will be able to be used in any voxel-based environment. So just thinking ahead, that's kind of interesting.
Is Sandbox voxel?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the stuff. I mean, I've heard that name, voxel name, a lot. I just
There's like there's three kind of game engines that I'm seeing the most prominent. So you have Epic Games, which is behind Fortnite, I believe, and they also are behind Unreal Engine. So that's one. Then you have Unity, and then you have Voxel. I know the least about Voxel, but
what's the Decentraland? Unity?
Yeah. I believe Decentraland's Unity, Sandbox, Voxel, and then you have a few metaverses over here that are actually using Unreal, like Cornucopias, Cardania, and then Pavia is Unity, which makes sense because Paul Manuel worked for Unity, who's the COO. So I always like that though, because if you think about it, these bigger companies like Unity and Epic Games, they're sort of like, who are their customers, right? Because these are big companies that have a lot of saying power.
Yeah.
And the customers of these for the next generation of maybe gaming, but definitely like the metaverse, is Web3 metaverses. So they have this interest in doing things and representing that Web3 interest because they know that that's like a tremendous amount of their customers.
Right.
So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is interesting. So shout out to the Kongs for the collaboration. That was hinted at maybe a month or two ago, and then this is kind of it coming to fruition. Number 6, Cats on Chain. If you guys are liking this video, please give it a like. That helps out a lot. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Also follow Jcrypto on Twitter and his YouTube channel as well.
Let's try to get 100 likes. Let's try to get 100 likes.
Yeah, I think we could. Believe.
Hey, let's get 100 likes on this one video.
So this is something interesting for you, Jay. Cats on Chain. I don't know if you're familiar with this one yet. I'm not even following these guys. So they don't have a Discord. They don't have a roadmap. It's just on-chain, obviously. On-chain NFT, only 1,000. Free mint.
Smart.
Free mint. And they sold out in 4 minutes, which makes me seem like people either knew about this or anyways, whatever. And then that's not even, let's see the 7. So they went up. I know that the floor was higher than 180. I don't know if who in the chat who saw the floor the highest. I think I saw it when it was at 250. We had a previous version of this type of thing called Mars Birds. I don't know if you saw Mars Birds. They had a free mint and they peaked at like maybe 60 or 70 ADA, if I'm wrong. This one just boom, 250 for a free mint is pretty impressive. And maybe that's where people are going to start to move in the future.
They are.
They've got high royalties, free mint. You think so? Yeah, I think so too. Because people are afraid to spend their ADA. And so how do you get people to buy your project? Well, you make it free, and then every time they want to trade it or, take profit from it, you're also getting a profit from it because you have a 10 or a 15% royalty, but you got really nothing up front. So it's a very interesting strategy, and it seemed to work out really well for these cats on the chain. Dilly says, what are the royalties like? I'm pretty sure they are 15% or 10%. So 10% royalties at 150K.
That's so smart.
Even if 15,000 ADA,
they could pull that off. Holy crap, though. That's really smart, man. I love when I see this stuff because I know if you know Andrew Donovan, do you know?
No.
Oh, okay. So he's in Twitter Spaces too, and he's helping out with Cyberbots. They're doing a 5 ADA mint, and that's a very interesting project, by the way. But we won't get into that here.
I've talked with him a little bit, but yeah, I haven't.
You probably have, dude. Yeah.
So this is what the cats look like. So if you want to pick up one of these nice little cats, so on chain versus off chain. So basically there's this, for most NFTs, there's something called IPFS, and it's the image itself is stored off of Cardano, and the metadata is stored on Cardano on chain. And for something like this image is actually on Cardano. So for some reason, if the IPFS went down or whatever, the image would actually be gone. But some people really like this idea where it's all on the chain. But I know I think there are limitations to being on chain. I think it has to be pixelated. Maybe at least the only ones on chain that I've seen are pixelated.
It's got to be really
small. Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah. So that's why you lose a little bit of the quality. But I mean, that has a collectible aspect to it. I could see that.
If it's the first free mint that's an on-chain NFT, it certainly has a historical. There could be an argument for.
I'm pretty sure there was probably something even before Mars Birds, but these guys were before them.
I think I never knew what these freaking things were, so that's why they have such a prominence, because they were a free mint.
Yeah, 1250. I know there's another one though. Someone in the chat would know what the first one was, because when we were talking about Mars Birds, somebody else was mentioning a different project that had done it before them. It's like the telephone game. But yeah, Cats on Chain made it into the top 10, 281,000 ADA in volume according to Open Cnft.
When you give stuff away for free, who would guess? It's the most selfish, for a project, it's the most selfish long-term play if you're going to continue developing an awesome project, because the royalties that stack up, the volume that happens at those low prices, it's a smart move. You're just gonna, while nobody's doing this too, it's damn, it's pretty smart, man. I like it.
Our unsigned algorithm, unsigned algorithms are on chain.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's got to be at least one of the first ones. Someone's saying fractals. These are on chain? These are 3D fractals, maybe. Anyways, I don't want to get too deep down that rabbit hole because I think we could go a long time. But Clay Nation Good Charlotte, this is the if you guys don't know the difference, it's like the narrative that's been said is this is Bored Ape Yacht Club and this is the Mutant Apes, and so it's like their secondary collection. It was a Halloween themed collaboration with the Good Charlotte band, and 1000 ADA they've held the floor really well. People are waiting for this token, this baking period, as we've already mentioned before, this token allocation. So depending on the type of clay, the rarity of the clay, for some, you'll get a different token allocation. And then for the pitches, it's a one-time distribution, which is really interesting. And they were going to do that in June, and they pushed it back because they're still trying to tie off some things on the legal side. So those
Right.
are interesting. I don't know if there's not nothing new. There's not really a lot new to say about the Good Charlotte collection other than what we've already said about Clay Nation, unless you had something, Jay.
Yeah, the one thing I would say is when they first did the Halloween drop, I saw people respond saying, "Oh no, is this going to be a seasonal thing? Because that would really inflate the supply having all these things." I think it was smart for them to do this one with like a really good brand and kind of hold off because they've kept that supply like relatively low, and it's just a Halloween sort of deal. So what's been kind of cool about it is all of the original holders that got one have made like the value has gone like extraordinarily up from where they
Right.
first
Yeah.
minted or and whatnot. So I think that that's a really cool thing to say, that like Clay Nation is aware, supply does matter, whether it was from all that feedback of people just kind of worried about continuous things. So I think it's great, man. I love to see when projects are able to reward their holders.
Mhm.
So I think it's cool.
Yep. They might have been one of the first on Cardano to do the 1-for-1 mint idea. And that's not
That's
unique to
interesting.
Cardano, but if I'm remembering correctly, you had to own an OG Clay to be able to mint
Oh, is that how it works?
the Good Charlotte. That's how it was, and I think it was a pretty expensive mint price. It was like it was like 80 ADA or 75 ADA. Maybe somebody can correct me. Freedom 35ers, Tommy, you had a Clay. How much did you pay for your Good Charlotte when they minted? I think it was around the 70 to 80. So what? I mean, it wasn't free, but obviously, if you held it, I mean, you've got another 1,000 ADA asset in your collection if you've held for that long, and you've been gaining these Clay tokens this whole time. So
That's a
shout
good
out
point.
to Good Charlotte Clay Nation. Boss Cat Rocket Club. I don't think there's anything new there other than, as we've already mentioned, the collaboration with Chilled Kongs. You've got two of the biggest projects on Cardano collaborating with one another. So shout out to Boss Cats.
I just like, for all the boss cats out there, I don't own one, but I just love the there was a period of time where boss cats just got a lot of heat. They had it rough. So like to see them continue to build and move forward and the community supporting them, it's cool to see. And whatever is happening right now, obviously it is one of the bigger projects on Cardano. It isn't for no reason. So it's cool to see. So shout out to the boss cast for sure.
Yeah.
It'll be fun to see what their I don't own any boss planet. I don't own any boss DAO. I don't own any of the boss cat stuff. But this is another thing where I'm just kind of watching from the sidelines, sort of like, this is interesting. It's a bit outside. It was a bit outside my comfort zone at first because it was just the boss cats. Um, but we will see, man. I mean, I remember in their original white paper, there was like this membership to like beach clubs around the world or something. So like, I don't know how far that has gone, but that
It's
sounds
something
like
about an app where, yeah, you could, if you're a holder, you have some app, and I don't know exactly what the full utility was, but it's something like that.
yeah, I don't know if it like if they're still doing that, but that sounded like a kind of a cool utility.
Yes.
So that'd be fun to almost look into and see if that's like how it works and stuff, because at like relatively the same floor price it's been, it is interesting. So shout out to the
Yeah.
boss kids.
Now you have mentioned a couple times that you're thinking things are going to go down. Is that from, you're listening to a lot of people on Twitter Spaces? Do you just think, macroeconomic stuff that's out of our control? Crypto's in for a long winter. What brings you to that conclusion?
Yeah, man. So like VP is a great guy to listen to because he's just been like, he's not like a 30-year-old or 20-year-old. Like this guy is like, he's been through a few economic storms, and what he's seeing on the macro is not looking good for anyone. Now there's this potential for Vassal to pump ADA and get some FOMO back into the market and have things go up for a little bit. And there's potential for moments. But what I think is probably going to happen is things are going to get really tough. And they're going to get tough for, a few reasons. But I don't know that for sure, because there's this other narrative that Raoul Paul, if you've listened to him, has been saying we're going to be switching over to a universal basic income a lot quicker than we think, potentially. And that could actually make more money, put more money in the global, market, which is great for things like JPEGs and NFTs. But barring that aside, if things do get tougher, if the Fed continues to raise interest rates like they are, and we have these two things, right? We have inflation, so goods have gotten expensive, whether that lasts for longer or whether they get more expensive or whether they just go down, like that has hit people. And then we also have the whole, money it's just like interest rates are rising. You're seeing investments come out of risky things. The only when interest rates have risen historically, what does well is commodities. So I think a lot of these smart investors are putting their money into commodities. And I've been looking into commodities more because of that. So we've been not talking about it on my channel, but I've definitely been educating myself on things like oil and like where it's currently at, where it could be going price wise, just to kind of look at it, because those things do tend to do well when interest rates rise, and things like the stock market don't do well. So it's just a lot going on, man. Like there's problems with the supply chain too. So like that's something to watch out for. I think all in all, it doesn't mean anything is getting less valuable, right? Because there's development happening in this space more so than ever before. I do think people could get exhausted out of this market. And that's why I'm not, shooting my load. Sorry to say that, all over the place, because I don't want, that'd be a good clip, to get exhausted out of the freaking market. I want to have some, what do you call it? Endurance. And I think there's no losing in that, because if you can have a little bit of a conservative approach and things do go up and you already have exposure to some of these assets, NFTs, crypto, you're okay. But if things don't go up and you have some cash, you're now the most popular guy at the party,
Yes.
So I think that mindset, whether it happens or not, is what I'm choosing to believe in, because I know it's going to keep me from overextending myself as well. And there are facts that point we are definitely heading towards a tougher place globally, economically. I will be tracking Raoul Paul's theory, because he pointed out that there's probably about 4 months before his theory is confirmed, or we actually just will have like an 18-month bear market, like with everything, party over mode, not just crypto, but just like stock market, like everything will get revalued. So I'm going to be watching that as well, but and maybe I'll buy some ADA this month just in case, I don't know, something does happen with the Basel hard fork, right? But it won't be a ton. Like I'm not gonna be betting my my life on it. So that's kind of why I say that.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. I just love hearing everybody's opinion on what's going on. We're all speculating still, but it's interesting to get different opinions. Good to see Clark Kent in the chat. Shout out to Clark. Good guy. Old money. The thing that most people in this chat have been waiting for. is the old money conversation. Now we've got a lot of people to give us the answer. Look at this hockey stick from 2 days ago till now. Old money peeps. What's going on? What's going on with old money? Somebody said, Dilly said, if only there was a project that had a sarcastic take on inflation. Oh man, you guys are funny. But yeah, I mean, these guys are just doing everything right. I don't know if you've seen, I don't have a Twitter pulled up, but some of these rare bills are going for insane 5-figure ADA prices, like 25,000, 30,000, 18, 15, like it's insane. Mateo says supply shock, only 2% listed. Diamond Hands. I think Jungle does a better job of showing the percent listed. I'm just going to head over to Jungle really quickly. Why does it show Golden Boy when I put old? I'm pretty sure old money is more popular than that. 2% listed. Only 179 NFTs for sale.
Okay.
Do you know a lot about old money?
No, not everything. I know the story behind it. I know the basics.
Yeah. They are there's some insane people in there. And the art, the bills are
like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean?
Like hardcore.
Oh, you mean like
Diamond
Hander, Believer? Yeah.
Well, also just like completely absorbed into the world that they've built, like the lore and the vocabulary and
there's depth.
Yeah,
that's
there's
really cool.
insane depth.
That's a really good thing for projects to have. I always love depth, so that's cool to hear. I do know that there's depth, which is why I don't know everything, because there's too much. Like, you have to get absorbed to really, you know what I mean? Like, some projects you gotta be. I don't know how Chronic does it. Like, that's why I look at Chronic and I'm like, holy crap, man. Like, he does some of these projects with a lot of depth, every detail. He must have a photographic memory. That's the only real explanation.
Yeah, he might. The well, if it makes you feel any better, I had the they call him the correspondent for old money, Anderson Cooper, on the channel. I think he talked for like an hour and a half, and I was asking him questions. I scratched the surface a little bit, but there's still this ocean that I'm like still trying to figure out. So don't feel bad that that you're not like don't know what's going on with the project, because I'm still kind of like, yeah, I mean, I know it's great. I know the community is great. Diamond-handed people. I should have I think when I did the interview with him, I mean, it was like right here, 700 ADA. And hindsight's 2020, but I mean,
something must be giving people a reason to buy these bills for 20,000 ADA.
I know, and I just think they just love it. I think they're just obsessed with it. I don't think it's necessarily because of any. They might have a coin, and like you can. I mean, they have one of the best. I will say they have one of the best websites in the CNFT space. It's crazy how much detail there is. It's probably a little bit too zoomed in. You can see them minting the bills, which that's just, I just love the stuff there. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, you can go to, where is it? Guys, where's the one where you can look at all the feedback stuff? The Zesterson house, I think, is just where you can see the bills. Yeah, that's right. See, I'm learning a little bit. I think I have to go to UNorc, I think. Yeah, I have to go here. And then house, yeah, this one. So this is like their feedback stuff. Oh.
House of MFers.
Uh-oh. So this is probably some lore thing where it says there seems to be an issue, phone Hudro. So Hudro is one of the people that are trying to get elected, and there's 3 different people. Hudro might have broken something. I don't know. Does anybody know this? What's going on with the house?
Becoming an MF
Oh yeah,
jealous.
I already am. Maybe I have to re-sign in. Anyways, I won't. That's gonna make me sign in. I was gonna show this.
Yeah, we should phone up Houdro on the live.
Just, yeah, we got it. Yeah. Okay.
Hey, we're live. You know.
Yeah. Come on. Okay. Here we go. So the MFR token is getting upvoted. This is under review. Planned. They're going to carry out the election with NFT drops. That's like the campaign materials, I believe. And then in progress, making our campaign promises on board. MFR Heb. Who's that? Is that internal? Maybe that's a new person that's going to come on the staff. Add more nerdy brain power to the administration. Yep. So yeah, finalize the iteration of auction improvements. Oh, they do a ton of auctions. So that's where a lot of these bills are getting sold. In these high value auctions. So I'm going to sell this really rare bill, and everybody knows at this specific time. I think Dilly, the one who's been in the chat all night, is the one who hosts those auctions, and yeah, they go for just insane prices. So
I always respect the auctioneers. Yeah, man, that's really fascinating. There must be a huge reason for people to be spending that much ADA on some of these bills. I would assume if it's not just a one-off or like happening a few times, if this is a current theme, certain bills must have something to them that gives, I don't know.
Like, yeah, it's insane. I'm not the one to, I can't like super like answer. I wish I could answer it, but like each bill has different rarities, and like you can zoom in super far. They had like a scavenger hunt for some, like you had to try to find something. There's twins to the bills, and you try to find your twin, right, and that does something for you. There's things called back of bills.
Dude, I remember when I first looked at this project and I was trying to figure it out because people were asking me to cover it, and I just kind of gave up because like I spent like an hour and I was trying to figure out, and I was just like, hold on a second. This might not be a good project for me to get into because I might be spending all my time on this. And like,
why is that? Why would that be a bad thing?
Because I have other things to cover. Like, I can't just be like because I'm a content creator too. So I can't just be going 24 hours a day, try to figure out every detail, especially because, when I talk about certain topics, I like to understand them. So if I don't feel like I understand it, like I'll keep going, man. I'll keep trying to research it.
Yeah. So this is the owner of the bill. So I just picked on a random bill from the Zesserson house. So they have 2.2 bills. They have 10 inflation times. These are the different NFTs that they have. And then you have a certain ranking. So green stamps have a certain rarity, blue stamps, navy stamps, red stamps, and then yellows are the super rare ones. You can modify this bill. It's just it's insane.
No, but that depth I actually like as like my investor brain, because it's incredibly important to have a deep community rather than a large community, in my opinion, for these NFT projects to do well over time. So like that's a huge fundamental I look for, and why I like Cardania so much. So I do think that that's one of the reasons why this project is in the top 10. I think we have let's see.
Yeah,
have to be part
of
it. Why it's
Mateo's one of the good ones.
Shout out to Mateo.
Until the end, I do remember you commenting about old money. I do remember that because I think they were trading at like
the same guy that told me. I don't know. Like I had probably not, but there's these old money advocates, and as YouTubers, that's like can be a good or bad sign too, because like I have people telling me, look at this project. But when you have a few or like a bunch saying like, hey, dude, you want to check this out, that sometimes is like a little bit of an indicator, I think, for us as content creators.
Yep. Once again, I'm not opposed to paying the premium. I think that they are now really hot in the spotlight. I could get burned because maybe this is the beginning of the run, and I could still catch it on the way up. But when you jump 400, 500 ADA in 2 days, I'm not in right now. I'll wait for a little bit. Something will come along. The
Dude,
the clay token will get released, and the custom domes will come out, and there's whatever the new hot thing is what's going to drive people's attention, and people might be more willing to sell a bill when it's cooled down a little bit. Anyways, so
like I think of it like this too, Blake, and I hate to be that like bearish guy, but I think that this is going to play out. I think it's going to play out, and I think it's like helpful to think about it like this, but do what you want. Everybody think the way you want, and research the way that you want to research. We're used to things being overvalued. Like the stock market has been, like valuations. You'll hear venture capitalists talk about this. It's hard to find something that's not overvalued for what they're making. Everything's overvalued. So in a recession, in a economic collapse, you're gonna go from everything being overvalued and then being able to make this little cream on the top to things being actually undervalued, which we're not used to. And I think that if things play out bearishly, people are going to be surprised by prices, man. Like you're going to have opportunity. Like I think people are surprised right now by ADA, like what you can buy a space bud for.
Yeah.
6 months ago, if a space bud was $7,000 at the height at floor price, people were still buying. So like to being able to buy one at 45 cents of ADA. So when that stuff gets undervalued, I think there's real wealth potentials. And by understanding all these different projects, even like seeing this one, for example, now it's on my radar. Now I can kind of like sit back and be like, well, I know about it. I know that it had a huge moment and it might continue to. But if there's an opportunity where I think I can understand it a bit more and what goes into it and be part of the club, like that one guy who said you have to be like it's different to understand why it's different. You have to be in like really invested mentally in it. Dude, once it's undervalued, that's where I think there is some wealth changing opportunities. So it's not to be bearish, it's actually bullish, but it's a patient thing. So
yes. Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Okay, so once again, we are reaching an all-time high of time on.
Did we break the record?
Jay. It's always with Jay. No, I love it. It's so funny. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a speed round through, Pitches was number 10, and he's drinking a bang. He's ready to go another 3 hours. But Pitches were number 10
records that can't be broken.
You know what? We should, Cardano Thor's been doing some 8-hour streams on Friday. I don't know if you've seen those.
Holy crap.
So it would just be me and you for 8 hours straight. What about that? I think we could do it pretty easily.
I would have to get a few of these. Yeah.
I'll do the Red Bull. You do the Bang Energy. Anyways, there were some other important topics that I wanted to cover, and we'll cover them just quickly. One is one of my most popular videos was Chains of War, and this was a newer teaser from them. Twitter always kind of compresses the video, but
oh yeah, I know
the quality looks really good.
Yeah, better in real life.
And there's just kind of a little teaser there. So shout out to Chains of War for kind of this update here. Cardano Warriors, which is a project that I have been following since I minted Cardano Warriors.
Can I just do one thing on Chains of War? I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah. I'll try to do a speed run, but go ahead.
Bro, this is the value of these 3D rendered NFT PFPs that are rigged and can be rigged.
Yes.
That's all I just want to say.
Okay, good. Thank you. Perfect. The other one is Cardano Warriors. OGs. Yep. They have an animated trailer. The graphics on this trailer do not represent the graphics used in game. But it's just kind of a fun. They're just playing on the kind of cartoon RPG throwback retro, like have a good time, and like kind of showing how the islands are going to be set up. I don't think they've done the land drop yet, but you know, you're going to encounter monsters and you're going to have to fight them. I mean, it's pretty cool stuff. So yeah, I just wanted to shout out Cardano Warriors.
They did this themselves because animation can cost a lot. So even this is kind of like pretty cool.
Yeah, and then like they're showing you can build stuff on your different plots of land. You can be with your friends and like do quests and missions together.
They're storytelling.
Just travel to these different islands and get lots of gold, get money, you know? So yeah, shout out to Cardano Warriors for this pretty cool trailer, little teaser trailer. So that's Cardano Warriors. And then the last one I wanted to cover, which is a little bit late, as in like a week ago. And I didn't mention them last week, but Crawford's going to love this segment. Cardania, the Rad Paper 2.0 has arrived. And so Cardania is another metaverse project. Captain is is at the helm of this project. They always do marble racing nights and all that kind of fun stuff. 43 pages of the have you done a 2.0 review of this paper yet?
What I'm going to be doing is, because I've switched my videos up to do news and like really have segments, I'm going to probably do piece by piece in coming weeks. So I'm going to have like, here's this section, 5 minutes today of Cardania's V2 paper. I might do, and then I might piece them together and post them on my new channel. We'll see.
Do you want to say the name of the new channel?
Yeah. So there's nothing about it yet. I made 2 new channels, and one of them is for things like this, which is collaborative content, Twitter Spaces, and interviews, just so that way I can really have the news channel, because like I want to grow a few different channels. I think it's actually smart after hearing a few different. I've just listened to a few YouTubers like Logan Paul. I mean, people like him or hate him. He's freaking smart. Like he's done it, man. Like he's done it. Mr. Beast, I listen to a lot. And I think it's a smart move to have like a consistent type of content and then have multiple channels, because people discover you through that. So I also have a TikTok, but yeah, man, the new channel will just be called Jcrypto Podcasts and Interviews. So you guys, I'll be loud about it once I have more content on it.
Yeah. So that's the Cardania resources there. And the Rad Paper version 2. And I guess there's going to be an app that you can harvest your Rad on.
Well, I mean, with Eternal now, everyone's going mobile. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool. Anyway, so you can read all about that. That's in the description. I'm pretty sure I added that to the description when I was putting this together. Yeah, I did.
Like, there's more coming to this. Like, there's like things. This will get you caught up with what happened in the past 3 months, but there's more stuff every single month, it seems, from Cardania. So
yeah, that's true. Well, Jay, another successful episode. Thanks for coming on. If you guys haven't liked the video yet, I would really appreciate a like and
100 likes,
subscription to the channel.
You see that we're trying to do 100 likes and you're watching this post live, just give it a like. Why not?
Just keep going. Shatter the records. J Hub, I don't know if you had just joined in, but you caught the tail end of the live, but it's good to see you in here.
He's harvesting.
All right, guys. Let me know in the comments of this video any of your thoughts. Would love to hear that. You can also join the community Discord. And obviously check out the Catalyst proposal. There's lots of things, a lot of action items that I could have you guys do. But for that, I'll just kind of, instead of doing all that, I'll just sign off and say thanks for watching. I'm going to be going on a little bit of a vacation break, but I do still want to do these weekly lives at least, if not still do an upload. So keep in mind for that. I won't be live next week, but I'll do a premiere during the 8 o'clock slot. so that you can still join in live for the premiere. But I'll be in an area that does not have good cellular reception. So, anyways, Jcrypto, thank you again for joining. Go check out his socials and his YouTube. But yeah, it's been a good one.
It's always a pleasure, Blake. A lot of stuff happening in this space. So, it's always fun chatting with you. And I look forward to chatting with you in spaces and getting to know you better, man. Because every time we do one of these, we just get to know each other a little bit better, and it's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. All right.
Hopefully
thanks, everyone.
for the audience. And yeah, like it up, man.
I think so.
Like it up. Like it up.
All right.
See you guys. Your friends to like it. Get your grandma to like it if she's around. Why not?